As part of most recent Excel assessment test, employers started testing candidates for their knowledge of most recent features of Microsoft Excel. One of those features is Excel tables, and it generated a lot of questions in the recent quizzes. For example, questions how to use structured reference in Excel tables, how to create pivot tables and pivot charts using Excel tables, or how would you access totals data or heading sections in your structured references. In this video, we'll focus on the most recent questions that you get as part of Excel assessment test that are related to Excel tables. To better understand structured references, let's first look at how Excel tables are organized. By default, Excel tables consist of three elements. We have Excel table header row, table data, which is highlighted in yellow color, and then we have table totals rows. Header row is designed for sort and filtering, and also it is designed so it shows you top row and column names at all times. For example, if you have more rows that can fit on the screen and you need to scroll, you see that the header row now shows up as part of the embedded Excel column names. Excel header row also provides you capability with sort and filtering of the data, very similar to sort and filtering of the typical Excel range that was available in Excel before. Excel tables typically have banded rows, meaning that each other row is a different color, so you can quickly understand and easily manipulate with the data. You can change the style of this in the table design options. There are a lot of different styles available. You just need to highlight the style that you would like to see, and it changes automatically for that particular table. Excel tables project calculations to the entire row. For example, we have estimated column and we have actuals column. Typically in the range, what you would need to do if you need to calculate the difference between estimated and actuals, you would need to insert another column, maybe call it difference. And in the typical Excel range, you would need to put formula in each one of these rows. In Excel table, you only need to put formula in just one cell in the new row. For example, your formula might be B2 estimated minus actual. And as you can see, Excel automatically calculates the values for all rows by just you inserting the formula into one of the cells. As you can see, the way Excel references Excel columns is also very different. Instead of referencing them as the particular value, for example, of the cells, maybe B2 minus C2, Excel references them as at estimated in square brackets minus at actuals. This is called structured reference in Excel tables. Excel table also contains totals row, and typically totals uses subtotal function to reference Excel values in this particular column. If we look closely at the syntax of subtotal function, you see that it's followed by the number, and also we reference the column, specific column. In our case, it's an estimated column. That's the subtotal we are looking at. So this number has a meaning. If you look to the right, there are different values of formulas that could be used within subtotal. For example, value corresponding to 109 is sum function. So the way you should read this function and structure the function is by looking at this cross-reference, and 109 means sum. And in our case, subtotal means that this would be sum of the estimated values within the estimated column. Another cool feature subtotal function provides is that you can reference it with the same syntax anywhere in Excel. Because table name is unique, you can just copy subtotal or type it in manually and paste it anywhere in your Excel spreadsheet. For example, if I copy this and then paste it somewhere else, you will see that the value, and I just need to expand it so I can see it, is a little bit different because it references the table name, which is company expenses, but it uses 109, which is the sum function, and also sums up all the values from the estimated column. On the surface, Excel table structured references syntax might look similar to regular Excel formulas, but it provides some important differences as well. Excel table values could be referenced through structured references. Typically, you would need to provide table name and then structured specifiers, and there are 5 typical structured specifiers. To access entire table, you just need to use £all specifier. To access data rows, £data, headers, £headers, totals would be £totals, and for specific row, you just need to use £this row specifier. For example, if you need to reference any part of the table data, you would need to type equals, then table name, and then double square brackets. And you will see that in this row, you can use one of the specifiers. You can also use any columns. There are 4 columns in this table: operating expenses, estimated, actual, and category. And you can use any one of those 5 specifiers that I mentioned. For example, if you want to access headers, you just click headers, and then you close square brackets. You don't need to reference table name, so you can just close it and hit enter. And you see that all headers have been replicated here in this particular Excel formula. One important consideration here is that Excel formulas that reference table can spill. For example, it used to be that formula will only populate the value inside one cell, but we have the formula in this cell, F4, and it extended or spilled into cells G4, H4, and also I4. Because headers have 4 different columns in this particular Excel table. Same way, a lot of times if you reference the data might spill as well, and subtotals might spill as well. So anything that you reference within Excel table might spill over, and you should keep it in mind when you're using those formulas and structured references. Frequently, you need to refer to entire Excel table using formulas. To refer to the entire Excel table and formula, you need to use all specifier. The syntax would be equal table name, and in square brackets you would specify £all. For example, in this spreadsheet, I have table named company expenses. To replicate this table, I just need to type equal the name of the table, and then as I open square bracket, it shows me different options. One of them is £all. So when I select this option and then close the square bracket and hit enter, it basically refers to the entire table, which includes header portion of the table, data portion of the table, and then also subtotals portion of the table. It also spills over, meaning that it's not just in one cell where the formula results are, but the results are spilling over and containing as much space as the original table. A lot of times, you may need to only refer to the data portion of Excel table. You can refer to the data portion of Excel table in multiple different ways. You can refer to the entire data portion by using syntax equal table name and then in square brackets £data. You can also refer to the specific column of the data portion of the table by using this syntax down below, which would be equal table name and in double square brackets £data, comma, and then specific column name. In my example here, I have table named company expenses, and the data portion of this table is the portion that's outside of the table header and table subtotals, which is highlighted here on the screen. To refer to the entire data portion of the table, I need to type equal and then company expenses, which is the table name, and then in square brackets, I just need to highlight the data portion and then close the square bracket. And then it spills over and represents the entire data portion of the table. It replicates it in the column F through I. I can delete it by deleting the values here, and then it clears it off. And if I need to refer to the specific column, let's say actual, I need to use a little bit different syntax. I would need to type it equal, then type it the table name, specify that I am still referring to the data portion, but I will be opening double square brackets. I would specify data, and then after the comma, I would specify the name of the column I'm interested in. In my case, it would be actual. And as you can see, Excel allows me to finish typing, and this would be the final syntax because Excel highlighted the actual row. I just need to hit enter to complete the formula. And as you can see, it replicated the data portion of the actual column of the company expenses table. If you would like to be able to solve your problems faster, please make sure to check out my ebook store and download ebook on the related topic. All links to the ebooks are in the description of this video. Often, you may need to access Excel table totals in the formula. To refer to totals section of Excel table, you would need to specify the table name after the equal sign and in square brackets add £totals. Sometimes you may need to also specify a specific column of the totals section that you would like to reference. So let's look how can you do it for company's expenses table. In this table, we have two totals in the row 21. The estimated total in the amount of $207,695 was calculated as a sum of all the rows in the column B. An actual total was calculated the same way. Now let's say that we need to reference these two values. To reference both values, you would need to type equal sign, name of the table, and then in square brackets, you would need to type totals, and then close the square brackets. And it brings the entire totals row. As you see, column A doesn't have anything. Column B has the total for estimated values, and column C has total for actual values. So it actually copied all four values from the totals row, starting from the column F. To reference total for the actual column only, you would need to specify equal sign, then company expenses table, reference the Excel table name, then open double square brackets and reference totals, close the first square bracket, and after comma, specify a specific column that we're looking for. In our case, this is actual, and then close the double square brackets and hit enter. And you see that using this formula syntax, we specified and referenced the total for the actuals column of the company expenses table. Sometimes you might need to access totals for the specific row in Excel table. To reference specific row where the cursor is located in Excel table, you would need to use specifier pound this row. The syntax might be table name and then in square brackets pound this row. This will bring back and reference all the columns in the current row for this Excel table. But you can also reference specific column if you would like to. You would need a second specifier here. And in this example, this is the particular table named company expenses. Pound this row, that will indicate that we will be referencing something that's located in this specific row. And then this would be the name of the table column, which is actual in our example. So let's look at this in more details. For example, this is the table that we're trying to reference, and let's say that my interests are in the technology items, and I'm specifically interested in referencing estimated value in the technology row for the internet expenses. To do that, I would need to start with the equal sign and then reference the name of the table, which is company expenses. I would also need to open up the double square brackets and say that I am interested in this row values. And then I am going to close the square brackets and open another square bracket here to specify which particular column I'm interested in. Instead of referencing the column by B, I'm going to be referencing column by the actual name, which would be estimated. And when I close double square brackets, that should return the exact value of $3,445. If you would like to reference the entire row, not just specific column, what you can do, you can say that you start with the equal sign and then type the table name, and here you just say that you would like to get the values for this row. And this is the specifier, so we just need to close the bracket and hit enter, and it returns all four columns from the Excel table, starting from operating expenses, which are maintenance and repair that match this particular row, estimated, actual, and category. Pivot table allows you to quickly group and filter the data, to visualize the data in Excel table, to quickly find answers to the business questions. To create pivot table from Excel table, you need to select any cell in Excel table, click on the table design options, and then click summarize with pivot table. Excel offers you to create pivot table based on the table name, so you want to make sure that this is the right table that you're creating pivot table from, and you want to choose if you want to do it in existing worksheet or in a new worksheet. In our case, we will do it in the new worksheet. So Excel created new worksheet named Sheet 3, and this is the pivot table, which doesn't have anything selected. But on the right-hand side, we do have all the columns from the Excel table. The easiest way to start working with pivot tables is to select all the fields that you're trying to include in your data visualization. In my case, I'm going to select all the fields. I'm also going to expand column A to see the entire description. I will also expand column B's and C to make sure all the data fits. As you can see, presented data doesn't make any sense because the grouping is not correct. Excel groups the data by operating expenses instead of grouping it by category. And in original Excel table, category is the grouping for operating expenses. To fix that, we would need to change the sequence of the items in the row section of the pivot table. I'm going to drag, select, and drag category and put it on top of operating expenses. And now data makes total sense. We have fees, and then all the items, all the operating expenses are grouped by the categories. So fees, one of the categories, dues and subscription, insurance fees, and legal and auditing fees are items within the fees category. Once you're done building the pivot table, you can make data more presentable by selecting the values and formatting them with the currency sign. For example, in my case, I'll add a $ selection, and you will see that for every numeric value, it converted it into currency value, which is started with the $sign. A lot of times, you may need to ensure data integrity for Excel tables data. For example, you might want to ensure that user can't enter text into numeric columns. To ensure data integrity in Excel table, you need to apply validation rules. To do that, you need to select the column for which you would like to apply rules, and then navigate to the Data tab and click on Data Validation button. Then you select Data Validation and you populate the values. There are 3 tabs in Data Validation input box. In the Settings box, you decide what type of validation would you like to apply. Then you have an opportunity to create an input message with title and then the message itself. And then you decide what kind of error you would give to the user in case users do not comply with the validation that you just put together. In our case, we're trying to create validation to make sure that the actual is actually a numeric value. To do that, we would need to select the whole number and then make sure that the number is, for example, between 0, which actual cannot be less than 0, and maybe 10 million. We would want to alert the user that we put these types of restriction on this particular column. To do that, we need to define an input message. And our input message would indicate that there is a number limits applied for this column. For example, the message might be entered number should be above 0, but less than 10 million. And as the last step, we would need to define what type of error alert we would want to show to the user. For the style of alert, you can either stop any action and prevent user from entering the data, or you can do just warning, or maybe just do an informational message. In our case, we will do a stop type of style, so user stops entering the data until they fix the issue. For the title of the error message, we will just do a message, please fix this error. And for the message itself, we'll entered number should be above 0, but less than 10 million. Now I can click OK. Excel shows the limitations applied to this particular column. So the message that we entered now shows up as a tooltip. There are limits applied. Entered number should be above 0, but less than 10 million. And even if we scroll the data, the message continues to stay and shows up. Now let's see what happens when we enter the data that is not within those limits. For example, if I enter in the actual column values that are not numeric, let's see what happens. We get this error message that we predefined. Entered number should be above 0, but less than 10 million. And we can retry and fix the error, and then click the top button, and that allows us to proceed. If you realize that you don't need data validation on Excel table, you can remove it. To remove data validation, you select any cell in that column that contains data validation, then click Data Validation button, and then here in the first Settings tab, we would need to uncheck and put any value. Then we need to remove the message and make sure that we uncheck this box, and then we remove the error alert and uncheck this box. Now all data validations have been removed. Sometimes you may need to revert Excel table back into the regular Excel range. Let's look at how you can do it quickly in Microsoft Excel. To resize data in Microsoft Excel table, you need to navigate to Table Design tab. Obviously, you need to have the table selected or any cell in the table selected to make this Table Design tab available and visible to you. And then once you have any cell selected, you click Convert to Range, Excel prompts you for the confirmation, do you really want to convert table into a normal range? You click yes here, and after that, table gets quickly converted into the regular range. It doesn't look much different, but if you compare, because I have copies, I have two tabs here. One would be a regular range, and then I have the same information in the Excel table. For the table, you can quickly identify that you have automatically selected sorting and filtering capabilities, and you have table design option available. If we go to copy of that tab, no matter where you select on this range, there is no table design tab available, and sorting and filtering capabilities are not available by default. If you would like to remove formatting, which was originally applied to the table, now you have to select the entire range, and after you selected the range, you would need to select one of the styles that you would like. By default, Excel applies normal style, so you might as well select normal style to start over. How would you solve the challenges described in this video? Could you please share your thoughts in the comments of this video? Thank you very much. Unlike regular Excel ranges, where you need to manually add sorting and filtering functionality, you can sort and filter data in Excel tables right from the start. Sorting and filtering capabilities come automatically with each and every Excel table. To take advantage of sorting and filtering, you need to use drop-down at the first header of the Excel table. You have options of sorting A to Z, sorting Z to A, sorting by color, and using some text filters. For example, the easiest way to sort is just click Sort A to Z. With this type of sort, Excel organizes the data in alphabetical order. You can easily sort using the values in another column. For example, if you'd like to sort based on the estimated column, you can say largest to smallest, and you see what Excel did. It removed the sorting capabilities in column A and added sorting capabilities in column B. You can apply filtering on top of sorting. For example, we have column estimated sorted right now, from the highest to lowest values. Now, if we would like to add a filter, we just need to click on the drop-down box and select the values that we would like to use and have here, and Excel selects the values and recalculates the total in the row 22. To remove the filter, you navigate to column C where we have filter applied, and instead of having specific values selected, we just need to click on Select All, and then we reapplied and removed the filter. To remove sorting in Excel table, you need to select the drop-down box in the column based on which it was sorted, and then navigate to Sort by Color, click Custom Sort, and here you see that it was sorted by estimated cell values, and current sort order is the largest to smallest. So what we need to do, we need to delete this level and click OK. And this is how you remove sorting. Sometimes you may need to have more flexibility, and you maybe need to be able to sort and find values that are larger than a certain amount. To use this capability, you click on the column for which you would like to apply this sorting. You click on the drop-down box, click Number Filters, and select appropriate filters. For the business problem we're trying to solve, the most valid method of sorting will be greater than. And we select here that the values are greater than maybe $20,000. Click OK, and you see that Excel filtered out and selected only the values that are greater than $20,000. To remove this filter, you click on the drop-down box and click Select All. Sometimes you may need to resize Excel tables to add or remove data columns. Removing of data columns is very easy with Excel tables. You just need to select the column you're trying to remove and then say Delete. And Excel automatically shortens and resizes the table. Adding additional data to Excel table is very easy. You just need to start typing. Once I typed category, as you can see, Excel added additional column, and now you just need to start populating the values. Once data is entered, you can format it and make it look the same as the rest of the table. To do that, you need to use Format Painter. That's the easiest and fastest way to do it. So select any cell in the area where you would like to use formatting. So for example, we could use Format Painter from any area that existed before, and then we'll select the area where we entered new category items. And as you can see, new format was applied. Excel allows you quickly to change formatting and design of table by using Excel table styles. You can remove styles if you're not happy with your current selection, or define brand new style based on your preferred formatting options. To change style of the Excel table, you need to put the cursor into any cell within the table, then navigate to Table Design, and here there are many table styles available. You can pick from the custom styles, light style, medium styles, or dark styles, and Excel will apply any type of style that you will select automatically. You can also clear the style that you've selected by navigating to the Clear option, and you can also define your own new style for Excel table. To define new style, you would need to give definitions to the whole table, first column stripe, second stripe, and everything here on the screen that's selected. To do that, you just select the option, click Format, and select the options you're looking for. I would like to hear back from you. Which topics would you like me to cover on this channel? Could you please post them in the comments of this video? Thank you very much. Excel Slicer allows you to filter data for Excel table using easy-to-understand user interface. To enable Excel Slicer, you need to put the cursor into any cell within the current Excel table, click on the Table Design tab, and click Insert Slicer. Here you can select the columns based on which would you like to slice the data. Since concept of slicing is very similar to concept of filtering, what we can do, we can select the category as a slicer and click OK. Now I should be able to quickly select all the items in the particular category. So for example, if I want fees, I just need to click on the fees option, and Excel filters out and select all the items that have fees as a category. You can do others. You can do the same thing for technology, for example. Or if you hold the Shift button, you can select multiple items. Another option to multi-select is this button in the category user interface. You need to click on this and do multi-select. To remove all the slices, you need to click the bottom Clear Filter. Sometimes you may need to create a copy of Excel table or remove Excel table from your worksheet. The easiest way to create a copy of Excel table is to create a copy of the worksheet. To do that, you need to right mouse click on Excel worksheet title and select Move or Copy. Then select the worksheet, in my case it's Company's Operating Expenses, and then click Create a Copy. Now if you go to the original worksheet and go and select any cell on the table name, click on the Table Design, you see that original table name is Table Expenses. If we go into the copy of the worksheet, Company Operating Expenses 2, and then do the same thing, we see that the new table name is Company Expenses 4. And the reason it's 4 is because I created multiple duplicates before, but it incrementally adds the numeric value to the new table name. To remove Excel table, you just need to remove the worksheet. To do that, you need to right mouse click and then click Delete on the worksheet title, and then confirm the deletion. If you found this content valuable, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and share with your friends to help them learn faster. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.